Good morning and welcome into Bet the Edge. It's Monday, August 29th. Thank you, everyone watching live on our NBC Sports YouTube channel. We got a taste of college football over the weekend, and this week we have some huge matchups to handicap. Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame, Ohio State, plenty more. To help us talk about those, Brad Thomas is stopping by. As we always do, Drew and I will wrap up the show with our Edge of the Day. All that and more on Bet the Edge, powered by PointsBet. Recapping the weekend, Drew, how was your betting weekend? Because mine, pretty successful. Not going to brag too much.
Yeah. Week 0 of college football is usually a little dicey, a little, sometimes not the greatest of quality and entertainment, but this was good. It was fun. It was a really fun weekend of college football.
Fire Scott Frost. Are you on the train?
Sure.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know what in the world was going on with I don't know what in the world was going on with the preparation there. That was really strange. But I thought overall, Northwestern plays hard. They those guys respond to Pat Fitzgerald, obviously. That was a fun game. Upset to kick things off, and then I thought Illinois looked pretty darn solid, and Vanderbilt, that was a great call by you. They were absolutely solid, and I think that was a really nice taste of what is to come in college football.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not gonna lie though, I was definitely really nervous when Hawaii went down and scored on the first possession. I was like, man, I really bet on Vanderbilt, but then of course they pulled it out with a dominant win. But yeah, fire Scott Frost. Onside kick up by 11. All the Northwestern backers, congrats. All the Nebraska backers. I told you, man. Scott Frost, first week of the season in Ireland. We saw my boy Romero Johnson get suspended. There is a little incident at a bar where a couple Nebraska players got suspended, so not too surprising there. And then, of course, the Ravens won 23 straight. They keep on winning. Regular season NFL 10 days away. Rams versus Bills on NBC Sports. Did you lock in any bets yet for the opener?
Back when we did like our reflections of the schedule release, I grabbed some Bills at a pick 'em. I wouldn't bet. I would not lay the 2.5 with them right now. I think that's going to be a really competitive game. If anything, this is turning into a Rams or pass type of betting environment. Yep. I think the price may come here to play back some Rams money line, but I do not have an especially large action on that one. I will comment on a couple of other important moves though. If you're looking at the week 1 board, there were 3 games that you need to be paying attention to because key numbers are starting to flex a little. The first is Miami is out to 3 against your Pats. Something about the Patriots.
Do not brand that.
Something about the Patriots. The market's just not convinced that this is a good football team. That one's key because that was a 2.5, of course, now sitting flat 3. I want to point out the 3.5s are gone for the Jags. That is now a flat 3 as well. The 3.5s are disappearing for the Raiders. That looks like that is trending to a flat 3, although you can still get a pretty favorable +3 if you want it. That's going to get to a flat 3 before we get to kickoff. And the Chiefs out to 3.5. I agree with almost all of these. I have already bets down on Chiefs -3. I have bets on I have the over, which moved pretty aggressively in that Miami New England game. And overall, I think the division price, there's just not enough gap in this AFC West for the Raiders to be outside of the 3 there. So I agree with that move as well. So, of course, and my Jags, I played them both on the money line and at +3.5. So agree in general with the market moves, but it's fascinating that here we are 2 weeks out. We've seen all of the preseason games, and right away the stuff that's right around the key number of 3 is starting to move. This is early, but makes sense in terms of liquidity in the market.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with all those moves too. I want to point out a couple as well. I'm on the Jags too, Drew. I did bet them +3. I'm going to throw them in my Circa Vegas contest. I was going to bet the Panthers, man, at a +1. They're out to -2, -140 on the money line against the Browns, team that hasn't won week 1 game since 2004. So I still like the Panthers on the money line at that price. Also, I gave out the Giants and the Vikings. Giants at +6, 6.5. It's down to 5.5. Coming down under a key number at Tennessee. And then also the Vikings were 2.5. They're +1.5 on some books now. Looking towards a pick 'em with the Packers. So we'll see what happens. But we got the value. If you guys have been listening, we got the value Friday. We talked off the Patriots. So, of course, the Dolphins team comes. Congrats, Drew, on that. But in case you guys missed it, Matthew Berry's new show, Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry, the legendary fantasy football analyst, is back with NBC and Roto World, doing what he does best, discussing his sleepers, rolling his love-hate list, breaking down who to start and sit, much more. There will be also actual info on that show. So weekdays in the afternoon on Peacock, or listen to the show in podcast form wherever you guys download and subscribe your podcast. Good show. I had my NFL draft, last night for fantasy football, stacked. Jamar Chase, my keeper, drew in the 6th round. I got Justin Jefferson, 7th overall pick, then went with A.J. Brown in the 2nd round.
Oh, my God.
So those are my 3 receivers. And I got Cam Akers, Eli Mitchell, and Jalen Hurts.
Jesus.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good squad.
Yeah, let's bring in Brad Thomas. Hopefully he can take something away from that fantasy football team I just drafted, because that is back-to-back championships in my hometown league. Brad, first off, how we doing over the weekend? Plenty of golf bets, plenty of soccer bets. I mean, now you're doing football.
Man, the weekend was great. It was really nice to have college football back. I hit so many team totals and player props, and it was only week 0. Golf was all right. You know, I was able to get down on Rory live, and I got him as top European. So it was a profitable weekend for me.
Sounds like a normal Brad weekend.
It sounds. We've come to expect that, Brad. Sorry.
It's pretty solid.
For sure, man. So let's talk some college football. You know, I had a very enjoyable weekend. I feel like everyone enjoyed watching college football over the weekend. And kicking off Thursday, I feel like this is the perfect game to start college football week 1. West Virginia at Pitt, the backyard brawl. This game hasn't happened since 2011. I was a senior in high school. I grew up outside of Pittsburgh, so I've never been a Pitt Panther fan at all when it comes to football, but I do like them here. I gave them out 6.5 last night. Within 5 minutes, Brad, the line moved to 7 and 7.5. Are we moving spreads now, not just player props? I think so. What do you think is going to happen in this game? What's your breakdown?
Listen, I do like that line. When I was getting ready to jump on it again a second time after I saw you post, it was already at 7.5. I think Pitt dominates this game. I don't care that they lost Addison. I don't care that they lost Kenny Pickett. Pat Narduzzi always does a great job of getting his guys in the best possible situation. Kenny Pickett's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL, but I think Kedon Slovis comes in here and he fills those shoes pretty well. But we have to be realistic. What they're going to want to do is they're going to want to establish the run here, because anytime you bring in a new quarterback, you want to kind of get them in nice and easy, short passes, running the ball, things that don't put them too vulnerable too early. And on West Virginia's side of the ball, like, their offensive line is going to be better, but man, they were dead last in rushing attack. And I think that Pitt's D-line is going to give them a lot of troubles. I'm playing the under, 51 points. The last 5 meetings, the under has been 4-1. And then West Virginia on the road as a dog generally trend under, and that's because they don't score enough. I don't think that JT Daniels is just going to magically come in here and change this offense. I think he will be an improvement, but they still have a lot of kinks to work out. And for week 1 on the road, the under looks like it's going to be really spicy for me.
Okay, that's fair. I think that that makes sense. And Pitt as an under team to start the season is kind of a spicy hot take, really, because their offense was incredible last year, but they lose some important pieces. So that's the way things goes. Speaking of losing important pieces, last year's semifinalists, the Cincinnati Bearcats, will be without Desmond Ridder, without Sauce Gardner, and no longer considered an elite team. They are currently ranked 23. They head to Arkansas, and I've heard some college football sharps make the case that Arkansas is one of the more overrated teams, at least as we head into this portion of the season. What do you make of this spread here with Arkansas laying 6 at home and a total of 51.5?
This is an interesting game for me. This will start to prove if Luke Fickell is really recruiting at the level he can, because not only did they lose Desmond Ridder, I think the most important player that they lost was Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford was the guy who could take the ball to the end zone at any point, kickoff return, everything. And you just don't replace that. Now, the spread, 6 points. Why is it so low, especially the way Cincinnati struggled against Alabama in the playoffs? I think the reason it's so low is because what Sam Pittman's going to do is he's going to run the ball. He's run the ball a lot. KJ Jefferson, while he wants to be an improved quarterback throwing, he's just going to run. So when I'm looking at this game from a betting standpoint, I would kind of stay away from the spread unless you want to check out something live and see how the game's playing out. One thing that you want to look for, KJ Jefferson rushing yards. The line's not out yet, but KJ Jefferson, I have him predicted somewhere around 65 rushing yards in this game. And I'm imagining the line's going to be around 55.5. So once that line comes out, that's going to be the best betting standpoint, because we know you don't no Sauce Gardner, no Kobe Bryant for the Cincinnati Bearcats. Losing 9 players to the draft is hard to replace unless you're recruiting at an elite level like a Georgia, and Alabama, and Ohio State. So we're going to see what this Cincinnati team is going to be made of. I don't think they're going to win the AAC this year. I do not think so. I think that's probably going to be Houston or UCF. So from a betting standpoint, I'd stay away from the spread.
My guy, Brad, UCF, baby. You know what it is. Yeah, we got high hopes for the Knights as well this season. And I want to point out that Arkansas is only bringing back 4 guys on defense. Cincinnati is bringing back 5. So both these defenses could be a little suspect to start out the year. And for Cincinnati, Desmond Ritter's obviously, he was amazing his time with the Bearcats. But they do get Ben Bryant. He's a senior, Eastern Michigan quarterback last year. We bet their win total over. And he's more than capable with over 3,000 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 7 picks. So should be a great game. Start off at +8 down to +6. So Cincinnati's definitely going to be the public side or the sharp side. We'll see soon. Let's go to the biggest game, though. Second biggest game, I'd have to say. This one, though, Oregon at Georgia. It's interesting because Dan Lanning, former Georgia defensive coordinator, now the head coach of Oregon. We saw this line open up Bulldogs 15. Now it's 17.5. Bo Nix is the quarterback. I love to fade Bo Nix, but the Bulldogs only get 3 guys back on defense, Brad. So what's the deal here?
Georgia is the epitome of next man up. Kirby Smart is a defensive coach. I would try to tease the spread down for Georgia. I think they have an opportunity to dominate this game. One thing that we didn't have to see out of Georgia last year was Stetson Bennett carrying the team. Yeah. But this year, their defense is not going to be as good. A defense that allowed less than 10 points per game is going to put a little bit more weight on Bennett's shoulders. But I think him winning the national championship and now being the hero in Athens, I think it gives him the opportunity to really make that next step, to prove that he can go from being a walk-on to a guy who can be drafted in the 1st or 2nd round. And he has great pass catchers in Brock Bowers and Eric Gilbert, who are going to make that very, very easy for him. Just like I talked about the defense, next man up. They lose White, they lose Cook, but then they replace him with 2 very good running backs. And you said it best. We're fading Bo Nix. Anytime you get a chance to fade Bo Nix, you can. Like, Dan Lanning's going to have to lean on his defense heavily. Like, I don't think Bo Nix – everyone's talking about Bo Nix has this SEC experience, right?
He got the SEC experience, all right.
Yeah. He's going to play against the best defense, or probably the 2nd best defense in the SEC this year. I don't mind the spread being this high and backing it, but I'd prefer to tease it down. But I do think they win this by at least 18 points.
It's interesting. So in general, surprising that market has been kind of stagnant, sitting right around 17 with so many moving pieces. Usually, and such a high profile game. Usually, there's people trying to make some opinions known, but that has just been sitting there at 17 with not really. I guess maybe they're just getting enough 2A action that they're going to sit there. That's probably going to close there. But tough for me to really say one way or the other about this Georgia team after losing basically an entire NFL defense. That was one of the most impressive classes, and sure enough, they all get drafted in the 1st round. And but the talent is certainly there to back them up.
Yeah, I don't know if I can bet this one in general. I think it's definitely more of a live bet spot. If I'm playing a spread, I'm probably taking Georgia, just because, Brad, you said it best at another cap that Georgia reloads, defensive reloads with recruiting every single year. The NIL is going to certainly, make some of these teams better, but Georgia, no matter what, is going to reload every single season. So, yeah, I like that a lot. The next game that we're going to talk about after this little break, that is going to be pretty interesting with Utah and Florida. I definitely want to hear your thoughts, Brad. But just a reminder, if you guys don't have the NBC Sports Digital app powered by PointsBet, go download it now. Contests are free and easy to play. Shots to win thousands by predicting what's going to happen. Major League Baseball, PGA Tour, NASCAR circuit, and the Premier League. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Battle of the Bets. Supposed to be back tomorrow. We can agree or disagree with our experts for a shot to collect some cash. And last time I checked, it's going to be Brad Thomas versus Kenny Ducey. And your boy will be in the middle. So we'll see who wins that one. Should be interesting. But let's talk Utah and Florida. This spread in the offseason, Brad, actually opened up, I believe, Florida -2, -2.5 at some books. Now it's Utah -2, 2.5 at most books. We see 3 on PointsBet now. So what do you think about this one? Because Florida has failed to cover 6 straight games versus non-conference opponents.
I gave this line out at Utah +2 months
man.
ago, and this was one of the games I was looking most forward to. If you guys, if anyone here is on the NBC TikTok page, I explained why I love Utah this year. I know it sounds too easy, Utah winning the Pac-12 last year, but listen, Utah returns a ton of players, and most importantly, Cam Rising and Tavion Thomas. But to make things even sweeter for them, they returned 5 of their 6 top pass catchers. Now we have a Florida team who is only returning 13 of 53 touchdowns last season. Everyone wants to talk about it's Anthony Richardson's year. He's now going to take over. They finally have a good quarterback. But Napier has a lot to do on more than just the offensive side of the ball. This is a team who was ranked 24th in defensive efficiency. The Swamp's really hard to play in, though. So if we want to talk about from a spread perspective, this is one where if you can get 2, you can take it. 3 is where you really want to start considering taking that money line in a parlay, because the Swamp is one of the hardest places to play. But if we're thinking about a team who is poised for a legitimate playoff run, it's going to be Utah. And you know why I say that? It's easy to say that a team who wins the Pac-12 can make a case for being in the playoffs the next year. But they had one of the best tests in that Rose Bowl game. Yes, Ohio State came back to beat them, but Ohio State had the best offense in college football last year. And what Utah hasn't had in a long time is a team that they say they can compete with offensively. There's no way they should have given up 40-plus points in that game, but their offense put up enough points to give everyone confidence. They lose a little bit of players to the draft, but they are kind of stacked coming back. And I think that this is a great test. You want to make the playoffs because they're going to have a slip-up spot. Win this game on the road, week 1. That really establishes your season. Like, look at Clemson versus Georgia last year. We had 2 very dominant teams, right? The winner of that game, I think, goes on to be undefeated, regardless if it's Georgia or Clemson, because how you start in week 1 ultimately can determine the rest of your season. And this could be a massive confidence boost for Utah.
The market is telling you they love the Utes. They've been one of the most aggressive movers in the Pac-12 market, and the title market, and the Heisman market. Everybody can, you don't really need to look beyond even this game moving from Utah as a pick 'em out to a -2.5. This is pretty clear. Market's telling you this is a team to watch. So fascinating to see if it plays out, but glad you got the best of that number. How about sort of the marquee matchup, at least based on ranking? I know it's a 17.5 point spread, but the number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes host Notre Dame in what looks to be at least an early test for an Ohio State team that is expected to be outstanding this year offensively. Yes. We're seeing 17.5 right now across the board for Ohio State, and we are seeing a total of 58.5. Interesting to see that there's been some late action here coming in on Ohio State as people are sort of kind of giving Notre Dame sort of, I guess, a vote of no confidence in some of the way that, decisions they've made, particularly at the quarterback position. What do you make of the way that this market is shaping up for the marquee game on Saturday?
Yeah, first, guys, like people who are listening, this is going to be the primetime game. You're backing a side and total in the primetime game. This is probably going to be the sharpest line that was put out there. So first, tread lightly. But I do like Ohio State. Let me stop. I love Ohio State. And it's not as much of what they're bringing back. It's what happened to them last season when they welcomed in Oregon. They played Oregon, right? And it's the middle of the day. No one cares about this game, right? And then they get like roadblocked. Oregon's doing everything right. Now they have a chance to play primetime in the shoe, under the lights. I think that this Ohio State team offensively is going to be better, despite losing their top 2 wide receivers to the draft. And that's because Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to be the best wide receiver in the country. Books have his total receiving yards at 1,500. It opened somewhere around 1,200. This guy is going to go absolutely insane, right? But what was wrong with Ohio State last year wasn't the offense. We knew that. They're the number 1 offense in college football last year. It was their defense. They had the talent. Like, it's not like they didn't have the talent. They just weren't tough up front. So what they do, they went out and got Jim Knowles, the Oklahoma State guy. He is going to make them tough at the point of attack. If you want to be a good, legitimate championship contender, you can't just outscore everyone. You have to out-physical them as well. And I think that bringing in Knowles will start teaching them about being gritty, being tough, attacking instead of letting people come to you. There were so many games betting Ohio State last year where Ohio State could have easily covered the spread, and you're just watching them. Their defense was just like going through the motions. But this year, they got a little taste of success. Now they got a guy who go in there and change the culture of that defense, they're going to be a fun team to watch. Now, if you're going to tell me I'm going to sit here and lay 17 points for a primetime game, I'm probably going to tell you you're crazy. But I've already predicted the Jackson Smith and Jigba catches will be somewhere around 6. So I will take his receptions over 6, possibly 6.5. It's not super juice because I think I have him about for 8 catches as his floor.
Getting some player props in the show. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Early line value. It's not even out yet, but we're hunting.
We are hunting.
I like that play a lot. I mean, I'm gonna be looking at that one too. I'm excited to watch this game, but like you said, the primetime games always have very sharp lines, and I think we've grown to know Ohio State is a team that you're going to play the team total on, or you're going to look at another way of playing them other than the spread. Because with Ryan Day as road favorites, they've been really, really good. But this is a home spot. So the bet I was looking at, Brett, I want to ask you before we talk about another game was, you kind of alluded to a fast start from Ohio State. The offense is going to be better than last year. I see the first quarter spread sitting at 6.5 for minus 120 odds. I've been scratching my head like, man, do I take this? Because last year Ohio State had a lot of letdowns.
Yes.
Starting out against Oregon, Nebraska, Michigan, Penn State, and Utah, they all were tied or trailed in the first quarter. Those were the best teams they played all season.
Yes.
But the defense was the issue. So what do you think about a first quarter bet on Ohio State? Would you take the 6.5?
I would probably consider taking the team total for first quarter, first half. Because like you said, Ryan Day is going to want to start. He's going to want to start out fast and hard. And while in theory, it sounds great that getting Jim Knowles is going to change them, but we don't know if it's going to change instantly. But I do know that Ohio State will score a ton of points in this game.
Yeah. Marca is expecting them to get 38 here. I think you're going to see a team total in that range. I think if you're inclined to lay this minus 17, or 17.5 right now with Ohio State, then you love this over. 59 points is a little bit low. You're basically if you think Ohio State's getting into the 40s, you just need 20 out of Notre Dame to make it happen. So very interesting and exciting game for sure.
Tyler Buckner, he's the starting quarterback for Notre Dame now because they're moving on from Jack Cohn. And I don't know, because I've been trying to look at ways to feel like, this guy, he's going to have a good season. But I don't know. He has legs.
He's going to be fun to watch. That's what we're going to see.
He has legs and he can move a little bit. But, I mean, we haven't seen this guy dropping back in the pocket and throwing passes yet. So, against Ohio State, the Buckeyes really might be licking their chops. I mean, I don't know, man.
This game is all they're talking about in Columbus. It's all they're thinking about. They get to play Marcus Freeman as well. That's spicy.
Yeah, Marcus Freeman, he's hyped up, and I like him as a coach so far. So this is gonna be the game. But the game after that, it's a Sunday night special, I believe, or Saturday special actually. Florida State, LSU. So much money is coming on the LSU Tigers. 87% of bet count, 86% of the handle. But the shops in the offseason opened up LSU -6, and it's down to 3. And we see almost 9/10 of the money on LSU. What are you on?
I'm on LSU. I was originally on LSU -2. So when the line dropped all the way down, this was about 2 months ago. I got it at 2. I thought this was a good spot to buy LSU here. So what we have in this game is 2 teams who have really good defensive lines, right? But Florida State, this is no joke, and we know this. Florida State have a terrible, terrible, terrible offensive line. And Mike Norvell, he's going to want to say, hey, man, I'm improving this offensive line. He said it before, and I don't think that just happens overnight, because especially when we have Brian Kelly coming to LSU, he's going to want to get this LSU team kind of to the glory that they had. They're returning a ton of defensive production. I mean, wasn't the best defense, but turning 69% of their defensive production against a bad offensive line. I really think that this LSU team has a chance to be pretty solid this year. And this game for them sets up very nice. They're playing in the Superdome. This is pretty much a home game for LSU. It is going to be packed with people yelling, "Go Tigers." And we know that. People were talking about the quarterback situation. I know that Brian Kelly he's kind of keeping close to the vest and said something about playing a 2 quarterback system. But I think Jaden Daniels gives them the best chance. We know Florida State has a good defensive line, and they'll be pinning their ears back going after the quarterback. Why not go with the proven guy who can move the pocket. He can scramble. He can also throw on the run, which makes you more dynamic when you have a guy like Keyshawn Butte, who's going to be one of the best wide receivers in the country. It's just such a beautiful situation set up here for LSU. It will be a letdown, a major letdown for game one of Brian Kelly if they lose this game. Like there's other situations like Dan Lanning in Oregon where people know he's not going to win that game. But Brian Kelly, you're coming to LSU to make them better. You want them to be tough. You're going to have a good defensive line against a bad offensive line. It's just too beautiful for him to mess this up.
Heard that before, but
it's betting.
We'll see what happens with that one. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of confused on this game in general because I look towards the over 51.5. I thought that could be towards the look because I like both quarterbacks. They're athletic. They're mobile. I will note out that LSU's Miles Brennan, the quarterback from season, he left a little bit over a week ago. So it definitely is Jaden Daniels. It's his team to do what he wants with. So, yeah, I think LSU could be better off. So I like those looks a lot, Brad. I feel like we'll have you back on soon talking some more college football. And
Thanks,
as you know, follow Brad on Twitter at Mr. Brad Thomas because he does every single sport pretty much. Tons of great content from my guy. And you can handicap all his handicaps, are at NBC Sports Edge. So, Brad, man, best of luck this week. Let's catch some winners, brother.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
All right. That was a great breakdown of college football week 1, but it doesn't stop because I got to play for college football week 1 too. But first, weekends are better with MLB Sunday leadoff coverage presented by Uber Eats. It's still baseball season, ladies and gentlemen. Catch the Blue Jays taking on my Pirates in Pittsburgh at the best ballpark in the country this Sunday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, live on NBC and Peacock. To learn more, go to peacocktv.com/MLB. If you want a chance to win $25K on the game, download that app on the screen, NBC Sports Digital app powered by PointsBet. Enter that Sunday free Grand Slam Pick'em contest. You could take your phone with the QR code too, right there. So we do know the Blue Jays should smash the Pirates. That's a given. We don't got to cap that one. But you do have some tennis on the map. How did tennis go over the weekend, and what's your edge of the day, Drew?
Tennis wasn't great for me. Bernardo Pera got run over on Friday, but then dabbled with a little Samsonova 2-0 in the final for Cleveland. Got some of my money back there, but this has basically been waiting for U.S. Open round 1 to kick off, which it did just as we started our show. They first balls out, and I got a couple of dogs on the card that I'm cheering for. First, notably, Francisco Cerundolo taking on Andy Murray is live right now, and that one's a very even match, but it's only 3 games in. You like Cerundolo too? You're on Andy Murray?
Do I like? I know Andy Murray. I don't know Sanandola, but I saw the tweet today. NBC Sports Edge or Sports Bet put out between you and Kenny Ducey, your guys' tennis plays.
Okay, cool.
Anytime I could see a Kenny Ducey or Drew Disney tennis play, I'm hopping right on that. So I'm on that too.
I like it. Well, the first round is going to be fascinating. There are a lot of really, really, really close matchups, a lot of live dogs. And in general, this time of year, the U.S. Open is just a chaotic tournament. Like, there are various, players who are coming in solid form, playing well in these conditions, but it's hot, it's grueling, it's a grind. And you really need to be able to kind of weather what is going to be a very tough situation in terms of conditions. But that said, there are tons of great matchups today. We're going to go with the bet nightcap for for edge of the day, and that is between Nick Kyrgios and Kokkinakis, his good friend and doubles partner. These guys play men's doubles together. They I think were the Australian Open champions this year. Took the kind of tournament by storm. People love them because they're so entertaining, and really these guys are true friends in real life. As much as you can be friends with Nick Kyrgios, Kokkinakis has been able to pull it off. And we haven't seen these guys play each other since 2014, even though they're compatriots, even though they travel and play a lot of tournaments together. They just haven't had very many head-to-heads. That said, they practice a lot together. They know each other's games extremely well because they are doubles partners, which means I think this is going to be a little bit of a longer match. Ultimately, I think Kyrgios is the rightful favorite, and he deserves the money line price that they've given him here as this prohibitive favorite. But I played over 37 games, and this is already on its way up. Looking at 38.5 now at PointsBet, which is correct directional movement there. It was 37 this morning when we were shopping edges of the day, but that's okay. I do think this is going to be a competitive match. It's probably going to go 4 sets, and we're going to see a couple of tie breaks as well. So Kokkinakis, Kyrgios to go over the games total for edge of the day for me.
I like that a lot, man. Doubles partners, they definitely know each other's game. They know what the other one lacks at, what the other one's good at. So I feel like, the over is the good look. Is 37 or 38 a key number at all?
39 is a key number because that is 3 sets with 3 tie breaks. Right around that, in general, you can't expect, at Wimbledon, tie breaks are the expectation because the surface is so fast. Here at the US Open, it's a little slower. That said, it's still quite a fast surface. And I think, a guy who's serve oriented like Nick Kyrgios, we can expect him to hold serve pretty regularly here. And I think you just need Kokkinakis to return the favor, at which point this is going to be a very even match. And 39 would be if Kyrgios wins all 3 tie breaks. I don't think that's realistic, though. These guys split the first 2. It goes 4, maybe go 5. This is going to be a pretty competitive match, in my opinion.
All right, bet. Well, now I'll be watching that one tonight. I'll be betting on that. Yeah, I'm riding your guys' tennis bets today to get me some more bankroll for college football because I didn't pull off the parlay sweeps on over the weekend, man. UTEP. It's always one. There's always one team that will let you down. But 71% of the bet count on your over, 77% of the handle. Not quite as public as LSU, so I like that a lot. I will say, let's go to a team though that I don't think many people are going to be betting on at all. 79% of the handle right now is on James Madison, 57% of the bet count. But we're going the opposite direction. When you guys zig, I get the zagging, baby. Middle Tennessee plus 6.5 on MGM right now, plus 6 at the PointsBets, DraftKings, FanDuels of the world. Both numbers are fine because we're also going to dabble on the money line for half a unit. Why do I like Middle Tennessee at James Madison? Well, James Madison is playing their first FBS game, moving over to the Sun Belt Division. So that's going to be very interesting. I do want to give a shout out for a second because I went to IUP. All right, you see this right here. That's where I went to school. Kurt Signetti is the coach of IUP, also an IUP or coach of James Madison, also an IUP guy. His dad was a Hall of Fame coach at IUP, but he's going to be taking the L in his first D1 game. He's taken this team a long way. But James Madison lost Cole Coleman, their quarterback, who had 41 touchdowns and 3 interceptions last season. That's a lot of production to replace. They get Todd Centennial, the Colorado State quarterback from last year. He was also a former Temple quarterback. He lost his last 6 starts at Colorado State. He was 3-9 as a starter and threw 8 interceptions in his last 4 games. All right. And the good news for Middle Tennessee State, they get their quarterback back. He was injured last year, had a season-ending injury halfway through after he had 16 touchdowns, 3 picks, and 5 games of 2+ touchdowns. All right, so you look at the quarterback edge. I actually give it to the road dog in the situation, and James Madison has replaced almost all their linebackers, including their star linebacker, and they lost 4 defensive backs with starting experience. All right, so this is going to be a totally different situation for them going from the FCS to the FBS. And Middle Tennessee has been very successful as a road dog of 7 or less, 5-2 ATS since 2019. So I definitely like them here. James Madison definitely set up for a letdown spot in their first game in the Sun Belt, taking on a CUSA opponent. So give me the road dog at +6, +6.5, and sprinkle a half unit on the money line at +200.
That's a fair breakdown. If you think you have the quarterback edge in this matchup and you're getting 6.5 points, that's a no-brainer. Middle Tennessee going up against an inexperienced defense, they're going to be able to score. So take the points, maybe sprinkle some money line. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what we're doing, baby. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. We got plenty of plays on here. Like I said, I'm on Pitt. I liked what Brad had. We got a tennis over in here too, so plenty of content. We'll be back on Friday, 11 a.m., breaking down some more college football, some NFL mainly, and then maybe get a little sprinkle. I think you're not here on Friday, right, Drew? So do you have any bets or anything else you want to give out to the people the rest of the week?
Boy, no, I think you guys nailed it for college football week 1. I don't have anything in the accounts yet, but I liked all the angles you guys were shooting there. And just keep an eye on these week 1 NFL markets. If you have a game that you like, or if you can, any of those moves I mentioned, if your book is hanging a stale 2.5 for Miami, that's a plus EV play. The market is telling you that. Similarly with Kansas City, Jacksonville, and the Raiders.
The Raiders. That's right. We're talking Blue Raiders today, Middle Tennessee State. Make sure you back them. let's get the over in the Kyrgios tennis match. And make sure you guys check out NBCSportsEdge.com for more picks and information for you guys after you're done listening or watching us. Thanks, everyone, checking us out on the NBC Sports YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the podcast, too, if you guys listen to us there. Good luck with your plays, and we'll see you guys Friday.